Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So, in the words of Anthony Michael Hall in 16 Candles, I think that's his name, this is getting good. Um, Donald Trump appears to be having a meltdown. He appears to be too much of a walking testicle to debate Kamala Harris. His campaign is using the excuse that Harris isn't confirmed as the nominee yet. I'll remind everyone, Joe Biden wasn't confirmed as the nominee when he and Trump debated in June. So total lie, total cover. It's so obvious. He is just completely chicken, which reminds me of this scene from Arrested Development.
You're a chicken. Cuckoo-ca-cha! Cuckoo-ca-cha!
What are you doing?
Michael and women? A cuckoo-ca-cha! That's what I was just telling him.
Look, I haven't.
And Trump has good reason to be scared. The race has completely changed. Voters are really excited. I'm like shocked at the level of excitement about having a new Democratic candidate. In just the first week of Harris being unofficially still named as Biden's replacement, her campaign has raised $200 million. 1 week, you guys, $200 million. And they've signed up more than 170,000 volunteers. And according to the donation data, 66% of the people who've made donations have never donated in this election cycle. These were not Biden supporters. These were not Biden donors that all of a sudden flipped to Kamala Harris. So this change is clearly getting people off the sidelines, getting them into the game. There have been numerous Zoom meetings, which I mentioned in a post yesterday. They contributed nearly $15 million to that $200 million total. One call alone, one White Women for Kamala, I think is what it was called, raised over 11 million. And as I shared with subscribers on Sunday, there's 2 more Zoom meetings scheduled this week. So tonight there's a call for white dudes for Kamala. That is at 8 p.m. Eastern. And there was supposed to be one Tuesday. It was supposed to be just a women's call for Kamala. That the invite, or I guess the confirmation for the invite, said Tuesday, but I'm getting reports, I'm getting notifications that it's tonight. So I will be on the one this evening, and I will drop the links for both of them in the description box on YouTube and the podcast in case you get to see this in time. But Harris's campaign is generating excitement in some very interesting places that we wouldn't normally expect. So check this out. So that was a video from a Florida event at the Villages. So Margaritaville, y'all. And for those listening to the podcast, the video was taken in a parking lot. It was filled with cars and golf carts, and they all had Kamala Harris signs. And these were all white retirees from the Villages in Florida, which is considered to be a Republican stronghold. I mean, this is like MAGAville. But as you guys saw and as you could hear, these people are fired up for Harris. They're playing Beyonce. They're out there spreading the message. But here's the biggest news of all, because money, as I've mentioned before, does not equal a win in November. Hillary Clinton had way more money than Trump. She still lost because, you know, we have this antiquated participation trophy system, which is the Electoral College. So Harris has to win some battleground states, as you all know, in order to pull off a victory. Well, guess what? New polling shows that Harris is definitely picking up steam in some of these really crucial states. So this Fox News poll that you see here, or the article that you see here, it showed Harris tied with Trump in Pennsylvania and Michigan, and it showed Trump with only a 1-point lead in Wisconsin. So this poll was conducted right after Biden dropped out, July 22nd through the 24th. And it's definitely an improvement in Michigan, at least, because Biden, in this same poll, this was, again, a Fox News poll. This was also conducted back in April. And back then, Biden was also tied with Trump in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, but he was running 3 points behind Trump in Michigan. Now, one reason could be black voters, because there's another new Michigan poll. This one was conducted by WDIV and Detroit News. It also shows that Trump and Harris are tied, and it showed that not a single black voter that they spoke with is supporting Trump. Of all the black voters in the survey, 82.1% said they're going to vote for Harris, and then another 11.5% said they're going with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Harris also holds a large lead among female voters, so she took 47.4% of the female vote. Trump got only 33%, and then 11.2% are voting for Kennedy. And a good chunk of Democratic voters are saying they're more motivated than ever to vote now that Biden has dropped out. So 46.4% of voters under the age of 30 said, yeah, now I'm motivated. 38.5% of black voters also said, yes, now I am far more motivated to vote. And check this out. CNN data expert or reporter Harry Enton showed how there are several different ways in which Harris can win with different coalitions than what Biden had. So check out this video.
This was the path that, of course, Joe Biden wanted to sort of ride along, is wide open for Kamala Harris. This is a Great Lakes path. So even if she lost in Nevada, Arizona, and Georgia, all three states that Joe Biden won last time around in 2020, if she was able to sweep those Great Lake battleground states, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, and we know that those states are close right now, that would get her to exactly 270 electoral votes. So this Great Lakes path is wide open for the vice president. So this is the Great Lakes path. This was the path that Joe Biden basically said, I don't think I can do it. But for Kamala Harris, this is a potential path and one that may be wide open. This is the Sun Belt path. All right, let's say that she lost in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. The Kamala Harris campaign believes that they can play in Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, and the key state down here, North Carolina, that Joe Biden lost last time around. Why do they think they can play there? They think they can play there because what we know in the national polling, for example, is that Harris outperforms Biden with Hispanics and black voters. Hispanic voters, of course, being key in Nevada and Arizona, and African-American voters, of course, being key down here in Georgia and North Carolina. If she's able to sweep those, she could lose in the Great Lake battleground states, and she would still get the 275 electoral votes. So one of the key differences between Harris and Biden is there are a lot more electoral paths, as illustrated by the fact that the Sun Belt path is still open for the vice president.
Mm-hmm. And here's why the Harris campaign has become bullish about these states and these groups. A new New York Times Siena College poll showed Harris with a sizable advantage over Trump in regard to Hispanic voters. So she outflanks Trump 57% to 38%. When the same poll was conducted in June, Biden was ahead by only 1 point with Hispanic voters. So clearly, not only is Harris ahead, but she is eating into Trump's numbers with that demographic, because with Harris in there, his numbers go down. It's not like hers just are higher than Joe Biden. She actually eats into his numbers, meaning Trump. And then Harris has also widened the lead with young voters. So as you guys can see in this graphic, Biden had a 6-point advantage over Trump with voters under 35, 53% to 47%. Harris is coming in at 60%, and Trump drops down to 40%. So again, she's not only doing better with young voters, she is obviously pulling some of those voters back to the Democratic Party and away from Trump. She is also closing the enthusiasm gap. That was a major issue. Republican pollster David Lee had conducted a poll in early July. So this was prior to Biden exiting the race. Only 37% of people who said, yeah, I'm voting for Biden, were excited. They were excited about their choice. Lee just ran that same poll, and of the people who say that they're going to be voting for Harris, 81% are enthusiastic about their vote. And in the same Times Siena poll, they found that far more people are now paying attention to the election. So prior to the June presidential debate that was so horrible for Biden, Only 48% of people said that they were paying a lot of attention to this race. Now it's 64%. Now, that could be because of what happened with Biden, or it could be because now they truly are excited about Harris. Could be Republicans who are worried about her, which I'll get to in a minute. But there's also been a massive uptick in voter registration since Biden withdrew. And the vast majority of the people who are registering are voters under 35. So an organization called vote.org said over 100,000 people just registered to vote in the last week. Just this past week, since Kamala Harris is now the presumptive nominee. 84% of that over 100,000 are under 35 years old. 1 in 5 are 18. So you think that people that age might care about reproductive freedom? I think so. And then Trump supporters, like I mentioned, they know this is bad news for him. I forgot to tell you guys this. I was at a family event when the news broke that Biden dropped out. I was seated at a table with several diehard Trump supporters, one of which is a major MAGA man. He is actually the one who announced it to our table. He was looking at his phone and he was like, oh yeah, Biden just dropped out. I thought he was joking at first. And he and the other people who support Trump who were at the table, they were not excited. It's not like they were like, oh yeah, yay, Biden's out. So as much as they like to drag Biden, they loved that he was Trump's challenger. They knew that Biden was incredibly weak. So MAGA world is not happy. They've been telling the press they are worried about this. They think that Kamala Harris is a much better challenger, that Trump is going to have a harder time. And Trump knows he's in trouble. That's why he's now pushing the whole stolen election fairy tale again. He knows. He knows he's screwed. So anyway, there's no guarantee, right? And these polls are just a snapshot in time. Very limited data, small subset of people, but she definitely has the wind at her back. She definitely has the momentum, and it's looking better and better for the Democrats. So we'll see who she picks as a running mate. It's really teetering on, I think, probably Tim Walz and Josh Shapiro. But with Josh Shapiro, you've got the issue with the whole Gaza, the war. He has been very critical of protesters against Israel, so probably not the best fit for that reason. That will deter a lot of the younger voters who were now excited to vote, but we'll see. Anyway, I'll let you all know when I hear more. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.